Steve, how's the mood after a good couple of wins?
Yeah, listen, we've always said we're trying to keep the training ground in a very level place. Obviously, you see young men with more smiles on their faces when you get a win, and we get a couple of wins that extends, and it just becomes a place that's more vibrant.
What's been the difference in the last two games compared to, say, the Barnsley game?
I think a real focus and a real determination from everyone that the belief is, unless you run, you don't win. I know that's a phrase that's used by many head coaches, but it's exactly true. I heard one of the best coaches in world football, Jose Mourinho, say it after a disastrous result. Who loses to Rangers? That's only Fibonacci. But I heard him say last night they didn't run enough, didn't work hard enough. And I think in the derby, there was not a lot in the derby. I think they weren't good either. We weren't good. It was minimal fractions. But if you lose a derby, you'll pay the price of criticism, and we deservedly got that.
You mentioned there you have to run to win. Is it fair to say that when your team has run and they have got after opponents, you've looked good, and when you haven't, you've looked bad?
Yeah, I think it's, the successful Steve Evans and Paul Rayner teams have always ran and ran willingly and ran hard and ran without trepidation, without fear, without worry, and it's always had a response from whatever fan base we've worked for. So you look at Reading here, Huddersfield here, Bolton, Charlton. We've battered them all, and because whether it's psychologically your players are going, these are big teams, we have to work hard, and but our focus is to get a squad full of them, and that's what we'll work hard to over the next few months.
How close do you think you are to having that squad? I mean, are you 50% of the way?
Oh, we're over 50%. We've got a lot of good players here, a lot of good characters here. And it doesn't mean because we're going to move lads on that they're bad characters or bad players. It may be that we've arrived and we've inherited and we wouldn't have chosen them, maybe. It could be that we brought them in and they've not developed and worked out the way that they would like. And it's more important that they would like as much as we would like. And one thing for sure, I think bar the odd exception, everyone in this football club, and when we report for the new season, that's a long way away, there's 13 games in between now and then, but before we report for the new season, then everyone has to want to be here. There might be the odd one, but there won't be the odd two or three.
Is there still time, because you did mention there's quite a lot of time, it's only early March, for some of these players to flip opinions about them maybe, or to make themselves a part of the future?
Oh yeah, I think I said it 3 or 4 weeks ago in our local press, is that we're all fighting for a future here. Players are fighting for the future under me as head coach, under me as the manager, and I'm fighting for my future under Tony Stewart and the board. So we're all fighting for something towards the end of the season. We have to finish the season in a way that gives everyone real optimism going forward, because that, in one respect, has been disappointing for us. But I think when I sit down privately with our chairman and the vice chairman, they both know the circumstances in which I took over here, and they knew probably with experience how much more difficult it would be than I thought it would be, if you like. I thought I could come in and just turn that oil tanker, and it's taken time, perhaps too much time.
Mm. Is that really the main thing now? Is it's to finish the season going into the summer with some optimism? Does everybody need that? My aim to finish the season is to win every game.
I said it before we went to Bristol. My aim was to win every game. We've won 2 since, and our aim is to go and win at Wrexham tomorrow. And we know that's going to be tough. This is, I think I described them at the start of the season as Evans Birmingham. As Wycombe have joined that little group, and Charlton have joined that group, all in terms of huge finances to try and do what they're trying to do, which is play championship football next season. But our sole objective is to win every game.
Mm. Injury-wise, how are you looking?
Well, the boys that have been out are out. They're not coming back. Joe Rafferty is back in training yesterday. Lost a little bit of weight, but it was good to see Joe back in the grass and look. To be fair, there's an outside of that, he looked fresh and eager and ready. He'll train again today. Liam Kelly's back on the grass. He'll train today, but probably in all honesty it'll be Monday before he comes back in for a full week's training ahead of a game on Saturday week.
The guys who are out and are still out, like you mentioned, is anybody getting closer that could rejoin you?
No, I think the only one that'll get close, Liam Kelly obviously will be back. And Dango, we're just waiting on the Man United. I think Alan McDonald and Sean Raggett, we can probably say, are not going to play in March, which is a blow for both those lads, and a blow for us. But the other side of the coin is we just keep focused on the players we've got available for selection. Zach Jones has had his scan. He'll miss tomorrow, so he'll be perhaps next Saturday, available for next Saturday. We reckon it's a grade 1, which could be 7 to 14 days. But he's a quick healer, and like I said last week, I gave him plaudits for getting out there against Bristol Rovers. So so that's a loss to us. But we've never worried about the ones we've not got. We have to worry about the ones we do have.
I think with Wrexham initially, it was quite a fun story, Stephen. A lot of people enjoyed seeing them get back in the Football League and all of the glitz and glamour that came with them. But I've got the sense that people now want to see them fail a little bit because of the money and the finances. What do you make of their situation?
Yeah, I don't want to see them fail. I don't want to see people that come in and throw millions and millions of pounds at, then want to see it fail. And if you're in football, you want to see investment come true to its worth, don't you? And I think Phil Parkinson is a good guy. Can't do any more and go and sign the boy Smith and go and sign Rodriguez and sign another Rathbone for us on deadline day. I don't dread because it's affordable to them, but I would think their budget is way up now. There was at £4 million spent in the January window, so that tells you the ambition that lies at Wrexham Football Club, and it tells you a little bit about our challenge tomorrow.
These two games, these two wins have given everybody a lift. What would a win at Wrexham do, though? I mean, that would be a real statement win, wouldn't it?
It would probably help Birmingham and Wycombe.
You get a little call from them?
I'd certainly be getting a call from the gaffer at Birmingham for sure, and the staff over there. But no, I think we just have to do it for ourselves. It's an opportunity for us to go into that top half of the table. A couple of results didn't allow that the other night, but we've not looked after ourselves well enough to be in that group. So let's go to Wycombe and get a real positive result. Then we have a free week on the training ground, which we've always said, because of limitation in numbers, because of injuries, we need it. But let's get into next week and maybe have Joe's back available. Let's have Kelly back available. Let's have a full Rafferty back available. Let's do that, and then have 2 home games, Saturday, Tuesday, including a team that I think will end up getting promoted in Wycombe Wanderers.
Cheers, Steve.
Joe Rafferty got a chance for Saturday now?
Yeah, of course, yeah. He trained. He obviously comes on the scale a little bit later, but I'm told he was back up a little bit yesterday in terms of weight. And that's just because the virus affected him. But he trained yesterday and trained really well. And I said sometimes the downside to that is you've been out there for the best part of 12, 13 days, not around here for 6 or 7. But sometimes that brings a freshness to you go out and play again. And we know when Rafferty is the best, he's as good as anyone in the league.
Sean McWilliams, 14 starts, 11 wins and a draw. Is he first name on your team Tuesday?
Well, he's one of them. I think we said when we signed Sean, it was a big signing for us because, again, Sean took his time in the summer because they had a plethora of top League One clubs to sign from. We got him in. The frustrating thing was with Sean was he picked up a knock in pre-season and that didn't get him really fully fit and sharp the way he should be. And then he fought with injury and come through that. And then when he got into the team, as you could see, he came into the team and in central midfield and was outstanding.
Yeah, good. That January run,
he was outstanding. And I think away at Lincoln on New Year's Day, that was, he was head and shoulders. He really was that good. And but we also knew he could play right back. I knew that because he's probably played that 10, 15 times at Northampton. I've seen him twice there personally. I know that Rains and Mills, I've also seen him on separate occasions. So when we lost Raf, it was less of a concern who we'd put there, but you obviously get robbed of him in central midfield. Yeah.
Well, John, started the last 2 games, 2 positive results. Not say it's a coincidence, but give us your overview of the last couple.
No, listen, the boys have worked tremendously hard over the last 2 games, and it was 2 games that we felt like we deserved to win anyway. It's just a shame that we didn't have a couple like that in February, which we kind of felt the same. So back-to-back wins. It's always a good start when you're trying to push for something. So on to the next one.
Joking aside, they were 2 big team performances, but how do you reflect on your own impact in those fixtures?
Yeah, I feel like I've done okay. Bit of a battering ram I've turned into the last 2 games. I've had a couple of chances. Probably should have scored at Rovers and then a header at Orient. But yeah, listen, I'm still fairly confident. But like I said, two massive wins for us.
You mentioned battering ram in there. There's a nice mix, isn't there, in the forward line with Sam Nombe, Andre Green, Malik. You all bring a bit of something different. Is that kind of how you see yourself? You won plenty of knockdowns in those 2 games.
Yeah, well, that's how the games have been. Ideally, I like to be on the end of knockdowns and end of crosses into the box, but you know, you do your part for the team. So, and obviously, if this is working, then there's no reason why it should change.
As a captain, can you tell us a bit about how the dressing room perhaps was before those couple of wins and how it might be a little bit different now?
Oh, so it was dull because you know you don't string a couple of wins together. You know, I think we didn't win in 7. You know, so it takes its toll on everybody in the place, and then obviously at the same time we've had that. You know, we ain't won at 3 o'clock in, you know, how many? I couldn't tell you how long. So it's nice to get rid of that as well. And listen, we go into the weekend with full confidence, knowing that we can actually we actually owe Wrexham one as well, especially from the first home game. I felt like we dominated the home game. They just had a really good 10 seconds, and the rest of that game it was completely all over them. So, you know, we're hoping for a game where we completely, from start to finish, just completely dominate.
The fact that you're aware of that as players, that away record, did you perhaps feel it at full time from the fans, that lift of perhaps pressure, and as you say, you're going into another away game now? Does it perhaps feel like that hoodoo's gone away? Yeah,
absolutely. And plus, it was a big game as well. You know, it's always tough to go down to Rovers and, you know, get 3 points. You know, but then, you know, when it was 2-2, I was thinking, oh, you know, his 2 points dropped, and then, you know, Sam's popped up last minute. It's the perfect away performance, if you ask me.
Let's talk about you. The manager's heaped praise on you for how you've come back from this injury. Kind of described you as a different physical beast. Can you give us an insight into what's perhaps different about Jonson Clarke-Harris post-injury?
I've had a real tough rehab, to be fair, so it's been extremely hard. I've been doing crazy sessions. I've not had a minute rest. But listen, if it gets me into the team and it helps my teammates out, then no complaints from me whatsoever.
And in terms of how you are a bit different, was that kind of something you looked intrinsically at? Was that a personal decision? Has the sports science department kind of helped shape you a little bit?
Listen, it's what the boss wants. You know, that's what he wants, and you want to play for him. You have to do as he says, and it's as simple as that.
And in terms of Jonson Clarke-Harris, you're all about scoring goals and getting among the goals rather than kind of creating them, as you've said there. But perhaps does this new physicality you've got in terms of being able to get about the pitch a bit better, is that good for your overall game?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is. These players now, they're younger, stronger, faster, you know, and as getting a bit older, you tend to have to change a part of your game to, you know, to keep going, and I feel like that's where I am. You know, you can get away with certain things for so long. I just weren't getting away with it this year.
As we've just said there, it is goals. You sit here and you want to talk about goals you've scored. The last one's, I think, back in December, a brace against Northampton.
Yeah.
I imagine you want to get straight back to getting amongst them and celebrating them.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, to be fair, I can say the season's been stop-start for me. Really disappointed with how my own personal season's gone, and I'm pretty sure my teammates can say the same as well for, you know, how they're personally doing. But tomorrow's an opportunity to get some goals and get a win, so I'll be well up for it.
You mentioned tomorrow being an opportunity. There's plenty of games left between now and the end of the season, and you've perhaps not got the goal return you're looking for. The team perhaps aren't where we'd like to be, but there's still time to put that right, but in both kind of categories. Yeah,
absolutely. Listen, just keep digging away. You know, opportunities will come. I think we all know that. It's just putting them in the back of the net.
And in terms of Wrexham as a test, it's as tough as you're going to get, but you go there now with, as we've already said, that away day hoodoo's kind of lifted and perhaps a bit more confident.
Yeah, like I said, back-to-back wins. It does a lot for the boys, does a lot for the club as well. So we're going there on a real high.
In terms of any promises, the next goal, could it be tomorrow? Would it be a Hollywood headline to get the goal in the last minute?
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Would be nice. Once again, 1-0 away from home would just be a perfect performance.